Actually, wait a minute. I think I actually have. Nah, it's fine. I'll roll with it. All right. I'm way home from work, and I was sitting in my job today, thinking about something, and it's actually something I talked about with my brother Justin I think it was a couple days ago, maybe last week. And I was sitting in my job yesterday, and I listened to everybody on the job. And for those of you who don't know, I work in like medical billing kind of situation. And to be frank, I hate my job. I think it sucks. It's a dead-end job. Doesn't pay for jack. They don't appreciate their employees. You know, it's just one of those jobs. It's a job. You know, it's a job. You know, not something I want to do. Not something I saw myself doing ever. Something that was like a nightmare to me when I began working and getting on the workforce. You know, it's just a job. That's what it is. But I was sitting there. I was at my desk, and I think I was on my second break, about 2:30. I was sitting there, and I was talking to guys. I was like, "Oh, how the heck did I get here? What in the world did I do?" And here's the problem with Christians: what did I do to deserve this? You know, what did I do to deserve this financial conundrum I find myself in, where I'm working and I'm making money, but even though I'm making money, I can't afford to pay my bills. I'm going to lose my house. All these things that keep going through my mind. I'm just complaining out of my spirit to God. And I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to, you know, gather myself. And I know I shouldn't be. And in the back of my mind, the Holy Spirit's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm starting to feel convicted of my flesh. So I started praying. You know, I was just praying. I was praying to God to sell the house. I was praying to God for good things in the future, for a good harvest season, you know, for the coming year, and all this good stuff. And I know God will do it. I know it's not that I'm lacking faith in this moment. I want you to understand that I'm not lacking faith, but I am starting to question not why God, but why Curtis. You know, what did I do to put myself in this predicament? Where did I what selfish ambition did I have that I find myself where I'm at? And again, I feel convicted because you know what? I didn't put myself here. And I don't want to be here. But you know something? We have to understand that regardless of where we find ourselves, we have to remember exactly what we are. And what we are children of God. What we are examples of His glory and of His righteousness. What we are ambassadors of heaven. This is a literal word. We are ambassadors of heaven. You know? And it's on us to present heaven in a good and righteous way everywhere we find ourselves. And in my pity party of blaming myself and blaming God and asking those questions and kind of feeling the depression and anxiety creep into my system, I had to sit back and remember, this is of no consequence. This situation I'm in right now is of no consequence. This job I'm at, the situations I'm in are of no consequence. Because you know what? They're not permanent. They are temporary. And they do not determine my worth. It did not determine what I'm capable of. It does not determine, you know, my value as a man, as a husband, as a father, you know, as anything. What determines my value is how I carry myself through these situations. So if I'm carrying myself through situations with a woe is me, you know, Eeyore mentality, and I'm not, you know, glorifying God in all that I'm doing. And you might be saying, Curtis, how are you going to glorify God in such a crappy situation? Because you know what? Because I know that I serve a God who's greater. I serve a God who is higher than any other. I serve a God that knows my victories from my defeats. I know a God who has been in my tomorrows. And it took about a good 10 minutes of prayer for me to get to that mindset of, you know what? This job might suck, and I don't want to be here. But you know what? I'm here, and I'm on the job. So you know what I need to do? I need to put my best foot forward. Nose of the grindstone from 7:30 to 4, or 7:30? From 7 to 4, 7:30 to 4, sorry, it's been a long day. From 7:30 to 4, I got to put my best effort forward, because I'm not just working for my own benefit. I'm not just working to show myself awesome. I am awesome. I'm great at my job. I'm fast and quick, getting praise left and right from my bosses. But I'm also representing the work ethic of someone who serves God. I am representing what God means to me, that even though I hate my job, even though I get up in the morning and I go, God, I don't want to go to work today, I'm getting up and I'm saying, even though I feel that way, even though I'm going through these things, I am also working to glorify my God, my Savior, my Father in heaven, my great Creator, the one who put me on the planet for a time such as this, for a reason and a season that I might not fully comprehend yet, but I know that's coming. So I'm gonna get up every single day, and I'm gonna put my pants on, my big boy pants on. I'm gonna put on, the armor of God. I'm gonna clothe myself with truth and righteousness and peace. I'm gonna make sure that I'm equipped with the word, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm moving forward always forward. Jesus never, ever moved backwards. Even when he had an opportunity to run from his persecutors, he instead walked forward. He never staggered. And the word tells us to not shrink back, to slack not, to press on towards a higher calling, towards a greater mark for our eternity that Jesus has set for us in heaven. And I know a lot of people that are going through what I'm going through. I know a lot of people that are dealing with a lot of things that I'm dealing with, similar things I'm dealing with. And, we can encourage each other by sitting there saying, you know what? My job sucks too. But guess what? We serve a God who doesn't suck. We serve a God who is awesome. We serve a God who is able and has been able to do all that we need and then some. And more so. Not just enough, not even more than enough, but immeasurable according to our standard of operation. That's the God that we serve. The issue is that we choose not to see the victories because we, in our own self-pity, in our own anxiety, or depression, whatever you find yourself in, we can only see the shortcomings. And that's a mindset and a mentality that needs to shift. It has nothing to do with God that you're thinking in the dumps. Your mind is in a spiritual gutter because you've allowed yourself to fall away from God. You've allowed yourself to fall away from what it means to be a child of the King, to be a servant. And you hear servant and you go, oh, well, servants, that's just a slave. No. A slave has no right to his master's house. A slave has no opportunity in his master's house. A slave has no wage. A slave has no personality. A slave is not seen as anything other than an instrument to do something with. A servant is someone who is revered in the house, is trusted with the responsibility to do a job and to do it greatly and to get it done. So when you sit there and go, oh, I'm sitting at this crappy desk job, but I'm a servant of God. I'm a servant of God, and I need to do the best work I possibly can because God has put me in a place where he trusts me to do the best work I possibly can, no matter where I find myself doing that work. So I wanted to, so what if you want to do A job, but you're stuck at B job currently? So you do what you can to succeed at B job while you pursue A job. Now, that might sound crazy to some people that, oh, well, I'm already at a job. Why do I got to work for the job I want? Well, if it's the job you want, is it not worth fighting for? If Jesus saw fit to come down from glory to hang on a cross to fight for our eternity, why can't you use your free time instead of using it to doom scroll or play video games or to drink or lament at your own situations? Why don't you use your free time to pursue after the thing that you want to do? That's the thing. I'm not even talking to church. I'm talking to America at this point. We're lazy. We're fat. We're diabetic. We're obese. We're dying left, right, and center. We're not marrying. We're not procreating. We're not doing anything. Instead, we're sitting at B level, looking up and saying we want A level, but we're not willing to work from B level to reach A level. And when you're not willing to do that, you have no right to complain, to moan, to groan. And let's get one thing straight. God does not mind that you moan and groan and complain. What God minds is that when you moan and groan and complain, but then you choose not to do anything about the moans, the groans, and the complaints. What are you doing with your free time instead of moaning, groaning, and complaining? Because there's a time and a place for moaning, groaning, and complaining. I'm not saying there's not. What I am saying is that if you're going to moan or groan and complain, are you willing to be the change that you need to see in your life to stop the moaning, the groaning, and complaining? Because God will listen, but God is not going to placate you with some sort of sympathy because it feels bad for you. God does not feel bad for you. God felt for you when he sent Jesus down and Jesus hung on the cross. He said, "It is finished." At that point, God said, "The ball's in your court. What are you going to do with it? Shoot your shot, player, because if you don't, that's not my fault. I gave you the opportunity. I gave you the tools. I gave you the resources. I gave you everything to succeed in eternity, and you have dropped the ball. You have allowed the enemy to come in and steal the pass. You have allowed him to take the shot on what should have been your goal and has robbed you of time, of effort, of opportunity because you have allowed him to. When you allow the devil to come in and to steal your joy, you are responsible for getting it back. You're responsible for putting the pressure on. You're responsible for stealing back everything he has already stolen from you. You're responsible for taking back every territory, every step, every inch that you have lost. You are responsible for that. No one else is responsible for that. You could sit on the corner and whine like a homeless person and make excuses for why you can't go find a job, or you can get off your butt and put some effort into your life because it's your life. It's not anyone else's responsibility. It's not my responsibility to live for you. It's not your responsibility to live for me. It's my responsibility to get up and get off my tail and go do some work. And, that's just what I felt whenever I was sitting there complaining and moaning and groaning and feeling sorry for myself and blaming God. And it's like, you can't even do that. You cannot blame yourself. You cannot do that, because to blame yourself is to pretty much tell God that you weren't worth the time. And that's crazy to me, that people will sit there and go, well, it's my fault. Well, honestly, by blaming yourself, you're blaming God, because God put you on here for this, or he put you on the earth. He made you for such a time as this. You have a reason to be here. So even in blaming yourself, you're constant blame on God, because he sent Jesus to fulfill a work that you couldn't fulfill so that you could be fulfilled in order to fulfill the will that God has for you that you find in his word. And we'll come back to the crux of the issue. You have to be with God. You have to allow God to be with you, which means you have to know him. And if you don't know his word, you can never, and I mean never ever, know what he really wants for you, because you're operating on assumptions, hopes, and well wishes. And that's not how God designed us to operate. He designed us to operate on faith. And faith is not a feeling. It is not an emotion. Faith is an action. It is a verb. It is something you use. It is a tool for you to produce glory out of your life so you can edify his house. So that's what I got for you guys today. I just felt in my spirit I needed to get this off my chest, because I know somebody out there is going, man, why does my life suck? Well, guess what, player? If your life sucks, it's because you have allowed it to suck, and you're not doing anything about it. And that's just the honest truth. If your life is terrible, it's because you are not doing everything you possibly can to live the fullness that God promised you. And I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. Actually, I'm not sorry if that hurt your feelings. If it hurt your feelings, get over it. Because guess what? I'm with you. I feel you. I'm in the same boat. There's a lot of us in the same boat fighting for the same oar, because we all have gone through the same situation. But God does not want us to stay in that situation. And unfortunately, for some of us, that means we got to get off our lazy faith butts and put some work in, put some effort, put some purpose, and put forth the axe to the grindstone to start sharpening who we are so that we can become who God sees us to be. Because who we are is not final proof. If you are not with Jesus, then you have not been finally proofed. That means you can do something. You can make improvements. You can edit and you can reshape and you can redefine who you are, because your life is not over, because you have not taken your last breath. That means you have time. I don't know how much time. I can't say that, and that's why maybe I'm feeling so empowered to speak this now, because we're not promised any time, but you have time. You are now living in a now moment. Now is when faith is. Now is when action is. It's not then. It's not what if. It's now, because we can't predict what if, and we can't rely on what happened back then, but we can rely on what we're able to do in the now. So I encourage you to just press in. I encourage you to take some time. I've done this thing where I've wanted to be this social media influencer. I want to be this motivational speaker, this thing that I want to do work for the kingdom. And for a while, I didn't treat it better than my job. I would give it a few hours here, a few hours there. But I've been taking time and literally tracking my hours as I work on videos, as I work on clips, as I work on content, as I write scripts, and I do all this stuff. I've been tracking my hours, and I go, okay, I did 4 hours. That's only part-time work. How can I expect a full-time wage if I'm only working a part-time opportunity? I have to do more. I have to do better. And I might not ever get to that 8-hour point in this point in time, but you know what? God rewards the faith. He rewards the one who's willing. He rewards the opportunity. He rewards the one who puts forth the effort. Because let's face it, there's a lot of people out there who aren't trying and are being rewarded. There's a lot of people out there who are not putting forth any effort, and somehow they're still doing better than me. Well, guess what? That just means I need to work that much harder. That means God is expecting something more from me. And you know what I need to do? I need to understand that God expects from me, but I also understand that I am able to walk in a faithful expectation of what I want to see Him do in my life. I can't sit there and say, well, God, I hope the house gets sold. No, Lord, I thank you in advance for the glorious, not only the sale of the house, but of the overabundant sale of the house, that the house will appraise for a higher, and that we will make money off of this sale, Lord. That we will get out of the hole we were in, Lord. That the mountain of debt will be removed. That the foundation will be replaced from mud to rocks, Lord. And that you will do everything according to what you promised. And what you promised was a life of abundance, a life of more than, a life of immeasurability, because you are a God who does not meet us in the standard of who we are, but you meet us in the standard of who you are and what you are, and you are great, and you are the creator of the universe. So I encourage you guys to take back the reins of your sanity, take back the reins of your life, of your mentality, of your mindset, of your action, of your activity, of your free time. Take back that authority, because God gave it to you. He didn't give it to Facebook. He didn't give it to Instagram. He didn't give it to Reels or Shorts. He didn't give it to primetime television. He didn't give it to sports. He didn't give it to the streaming platforms. He didn't give any of that to them. He didn't give them any time. He gave you time. He said, you have the ability to do what you would with the time that you have been allotted. But I'm not going to tell you how long that time is. You just have to do the work in the time that you got. So, come on. Come on. Come on. All right. There we go. But, yeah, that's what I got. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know. Are you going through something? Need prayer? I'm here for you. I'm here for anyone who needs, you know, an encouraging word in this time, because this time is hard. But you consider subscribing to the channel. Got some good things coming down the pipeline. And as always, catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. God bless. I'll catch you later.